working on BDSP. I had to do that because the volume wasn't on. So this is what I've been working on. You see the screen here. Okay, enough of that. Back here. So I've been working on that. That is where a lot of my attention has gone to, and what I have been working on. Just to let you know. So we're 3 minutes before part three starts. I got my glue vine in my cup. If y'all know what glue vine is, it is pretty much a mulled wine. It's a spice wine, a warm spice wine that is typically served over in Europe. But like I said, I've had it in Germany, so I'm just gonna say Germany during the Christmas markets where it's cold outside. So because it's warm, it's warm wine. There's some spices to it. It doesn't go above 159 degrees Fahrenheit because at that point the alcohol burns off, but it's supposed to keep you all warm inside, give you that glowing feeling. So glue vine, a glow wine, that's what this is, what I'm drinking. Yes, yes, yes. A little bit of culture for y'all that don't know. But I got it in hand. Obviously, Nicki Minaj is coming out. We don't know at what part. I think she's probably going to come out either mid or 3/4 of the way in. Then we'll get her through part four. Then at the very end, obviously, Andy's more or less going to close us out. So at this point, I'm tired of them repeating storylines or repeating conversations. I'm going to do my best to just give you the newest stuff. If something old is mentioned, but there's a new revelation, I'll talk about it. But I'm going to do my best not to keep y'all because I know y'all got stuff to do. Y'all got to work in the morning. All right? So, with that being said, let's get into the review. So, yeah, I didn't minimize myself. We picked up where we left off, and you have Wendy saying, "Okay, you had a tummy tuck. Did you keep Jamal to Giselle?" Giselle said, "Well, I had a tummy tuck because I had twins." And she was like, "Exactly. I got my mommy makeover because I was feeding my children for so many years, this, that, and the third. So this is why I had that." Me, she's like, "So what about your butt?" And that's also it. It was flat. It was all encompassed. It had nothing to do with a man. And her doing the parallel of, so Giselle, if you had this procedure done for you and not because of men, why can't you understand the same about me? Again, if we break the fourth wall, it's all because storyline, trying to keep this stuff pushing, and she didn't have one. So a question was asked to Wendy, why did she go so hard after Giselle and Robin, but not Ashley, who brought the rumor? And she was right what she said when Ashley revealed that she and Giselle was talking about it, and Giselle brought it to her. At this point, there's no need to talk to Ash. There's nothing else that I need to say to Ashley. Since the creator of this, the person that created this whole entire situation is Giselle, I'm gonna cut the head off the snake. I'm going right to that. There's nothing else I need to say to you. And when it came to Robin, what people fail to realize is, granted, Wendy was speaking to the entire group. Robin inserted herself, and Robin's whole thing is, I didn't know what the rumor was, because let Robin tell it. It could have been another rumor. Wendy brought out her receipt saying, "You and I had already discussed it, so why you acting like you don't know?" And what Wendy said is, "If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask your friend." But Robin was so liquored up, she wanted to sit here and fire back. And then Robin's like, "Are you gonna let me talk?" Like, okay. And even you have Annie's like, "Well, I don't know if this is sufficient." It's very much sufficient. And again, if she is truly addressing Giselle in front of everybody else, because here's the reality, I could be talking to one person in a group of people. Even though it's in front of y'all, I'm not talking to y'all. I'm not addressing y'all. Just sit there, eat your food, drink your drink, and shut the hell up. And like she said, if you want to know, ask your friend. But then she wanted to get a confrontation with Wendy, and then you got shut the hell down. I don't see a problem with what happened. I am telling y'all, I cannot stand Andy because at this point he is doing his best to defend Giselle because they're talking about, and this we're not going to dig too much into this to the whole rumor thing when it comes to Winnie, only because I've said all that I had to say about this, and the reality is this: if Giselle felt away, she could have talked to her off camera, and if she couldn't talk to her off camera, she could have put her to the side like she did Ashley, not Ashley, Robin, but she didn't. And you have Giselle saying, "Oh well, we talked," and Winnie was like, "No, we didn't." And then there was the whole who called who, and she was like, "Well, you called me exactly." Well, then we talked, and she pulled her phone records to show We had a minute conversation. And can you get a whole lot said in a minute? You possibly could if both of y'all talk fast like air traffic controllers. But if that's not the case, then no. And Andy's just like, well, I don't think this proves anything. That's only because you're doing your best to defend Giselle. Andy, you are full of it, and I have no more time for you. And then Andy ends up saying we went from a binder to a loose leaf paper. Yet we didn't get the fullness of the binder and let Monique tell it. You didn't let her go back to the binder after that one particular incident. So how dare you bring up the binder when we didn't get the fullness of the binder? We didn't get into the other contents of the binder again. Forget you, Andy. All right, so we have the Robin package. Let's get this out of the way real quick. Andy asks her about Macy's, and she pretty much says that with the hat price, and then in terms of putting it in Macy's, she's not going to make a profit. Pretty much what she's saying is they're going to get a percentage off of it. So, in essence, for her to sell the hats, she's going to have to sell them at a higher price just to make a profit, even though she's selling them for an expensive amount. And she says she's killing it with e-commerce, meaning that her doing it by herself is great. The only thing is you're not doing that great of a job, seeing as to how you don't consistently have stuff in stock to sit here and push out. That ain't my business. That's your business. She said the head revenue made it so she paid off everything, her taxes, the house, this, that, and the third. But in the process, what has Juan contributed? Again, not my business. Candace says to her, because she's asked about marriage, Candace says, I just want you to talk more about wedding stuff. Which, if y'all heard me say, I said it on the panel, and I said it here where she needed to be talking about wedding arrangements, even if they weren't going to get married, to sell us the dream that y'all finna get married. So the fact that you haven't done it, you're literally making it easier for them to not bring your ass back next season. I'm just saying. All right, so we are back. The husbands are out, not all of them. We have, let me see, Eddie, G, Ray, and Chris. Um, Nobody says nothing about Juan for obvious reasons. Andy talks about Michael saying he has the case of the reunions because he's always sick. He's at a wedding. It's always something with him not going no deeper because don't nobody care. Dorothy calls Candace. Candace answers the phone, which for me, I understood why she did it, but for me, one, why wasn't your phone on vibrate? I understand during breaks they have their phones on, but why didn't you put it back on vibrate? You're still on the job. Number one, number two, you answer the phone on purpose so you can furthermore have a scene and somewhat semi embarrass your mother because once she answered, she put her on speakerphone. Andy requested the phone because I was trying to figure out because I thought Andy called her. Definitely not the case. And Andy asked her, did she have any regrets when it came to the video shoot? She said no. I was just there. He then asked her, have you apologized to Chris's face? She was like, not yet. And then was asked, do you think that he is owed an apology for that? She was like, yeah, that's fine. So she's very, very indifferent. Yeah. Like I said, we're not going to be here very long. The husbands are out. I already said that. We talked about G, and G was just like, look, I enjoyed this experience, for what it was. This was great. I was here to enjoy my beautiful wife. Point blank, and the period. Then Ashley was asked about her references in reference to G, and she was like, well, G was overtly sexual with multiple people on this cast. My husband hasn't. And Annie was like, well, one, I'm sorry, Michael did say he would perform acts of fellatio on Juan. Mm-hmm. All right. So with that whole thing, Ashley was like, "Well, did Juan have a problem with it?" She's like, "Oh, it was just a joke. It wasn't." And I can appreciate the fact that Ashley's going to do what she can. Okay, Hey Arnold's going to do what she can to protect her marriage and everything, but there's no getting away from that. And then you have Giselle trying to further defend because one thing that Karen, now look, I ain't seen it for Karen for this reunion. I don't think I'm going to be reviewing her family show after her display on here. But what she said is I got to know G as I was getting to know Mia. So I knew he didn't mean any harm. But then you have Giselle saying, oh, well, what he was doing was this. Yet I'm thankful that Bravo showed the clips. Because it's one thing, okay, for him to lick his lips and stick his tongue out or whatnot, that's one thing. It's another thing when Hey Arnold's husband is physically grabbing another man's behind. So there's the, perceived action and the physical action. But we not gonna have a conversation because if we do that, then we can go back and address some other things that I ain't got time for. But again, here we go, constantly moving the goalposts when it conveniences one person rather than another. So we double back around to Chris and Candace. Chris pretty much said he is a glorified secretary, which is something along the lines of what a lot of us content creators said. We said assistant, but okay, secretary, we'll take that. Um, and Candace is asked about what is the relationship between her husband and mother. And she was like, before it was just surface. Right now, she doesn't know. Chris is like, it's okay. Candace is like, no, but it's not. It's not okay, and don't say it's okay. But here's the thing, Candace. When are you gonna check your mother? When are you gonna make it okay? Because if you're saying that it's not okay what your mother did, obviously you don't want your husband to confront your mother because then that's going to be a whole other issue. Then ethnics and whatnot going to be brought into it. Not a conversation we really want to have. But when are you going to address your mother? And then Andy is pretty much kind of asking like, "Are you a lot like your mother?" She says yes. I'm a lot like her, but Candace did say from an observation standpoint, the things that she like about her mother, she tries to emulate. The things that she does, and she doesn't try to. Which personally, I can understand that because, out of my mother's three children, I am the most like her in terms of personality. The difference is there are aspects where I am much worse than her. Like in terms of holding the grudge, I got her beat. In terms of mouth, the difference between she and I, she will talk a lot of shit behind somebody's back, and when she get in their face, it's all prim and proper. Me, anything that I said behind your back, I'm down to say it to your face because I really don't give a flying you know what. It just is what it is. Like it ain't no shame in me. I keep things a hell of a lot 100, but there are certain aspects of my mother's personality that I have acquired where I've had time to really step out of myself, reflect on it because again Socrates, the unreflected life is not worth living. Doing a lot of reflection, it's just like, okay, I don't like these aspects of myself, and I know where it comes from, and me trying to, be better about it. So, there's your little PSA for the day. Do some reflection, and what you don't like about your parents, make sure that you don't exhibit it yourself. Oh, oh my gosh! All right, let me go ahead and end this right quick because the ending was some stuff. So the tweets come up about the whole, salad toss. And because they were saying just trying to come at Wendy, and she's just like, okay, but you had these tweets and whatnot, and pretty much it was unfounded in what you said, and that was now here's the thing, that was mere retaliation to Candace calling her handsome. I'm not gonna get mad at her for that. Why? Mind you, it was a lie. No matter how we're going to, put it out there, it was a lie. But I always say, I know for me, if I'm at war with somebody, nothing is off limits. Though things may be off limits, if I'm in the moment and I know that I can say something that's gonna sit here and get you disturbed in your spirit, I'm gonna say it. And that's just what that was, despite the fact these are tweets. Whatever. Um, Karen tells us that Wi-Fi is now coming to Surrey County. Other little stuff happened with the husbands up there, but not a whole lot for us to really be interested in because the husbands really did not contribute that much to the season, with the exception of G. Even when it came to Eddie, Eddie was just like, it is what it is when it comes to Giselle. Giselle was like, well, do you owe him an apology? Well, I already said, whatever. Nicki Minaj comes out. She says her name is going to be Andiana Minaj. I know that Terrence, aka giving you the real, I'm sorry, BKA Gas with T, aka giving you the real, actually, those were reversed. Doesn't matter. I know he's going to have a field day with that. So Nicki Minaj, says that, look, have fun with these questions, but these questions came from me and the Barbs. These are all questions from Nicki Minaj, to be very honest. So she says to football head, okay, you just had kids, so it is what it is. Understand that. But because you had kids, knowing that you didn't have a storyline, meaning you cannot exploit your husband for a storyline, is this why you decide that you will become Giselle's lackey, if you will? And it kind of went off from there. And some of the questions that came up asking Candace to sing, I'm gonna deal with all the questions and everything next episode. Next episode look like it's really gonna give us something. So whether you like Nikki or not, it seemed like, because pretty much what this is, all the questions that Andy cannot ask has been given to Nikki. And Nikki was even said, if you want to choose house, you can. But Andy, for the most part, is trying not to do that because he's not trying to get, the feet held, or the fire held to his feet. But here's the thing, Andy. If you want to get some YouTubers, we will get up there and ask the questions. Because, look, I'm telling you, I know a lot of us that don't really give a you know what. But with that being said, you guys, that is my review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you tomorrow for the whether you like it or not panel. I believe I forget who's having it. It might be Terrence, but you'll know. Just check our community walls. We'll put all that stuff out there. And other than that, make sure you guys are watching my Pokemon Brilliant Diamond walkthrough, because hey, I literally have like 5 episodes in the queue. I just gotta add the videos, throw them up, which won't take that long. But anyway, that's all I got. I'm done talking. See y'all tomorrow.